You know that feeling, right? You tap an app or maybe click a button on a website and then,
Huh.
well, you wait.
Oh, yeah. The little spinner.
Exactly. The spinner just goes round and round. Data takes forever to load, and your patience just disappears.
It really does.
So what if there was a shortcut?
Hmm.
A way to get lightning fast performance, make your applications feel instantly responsive even when they're getting hammered with users.
That's the dream scenario, isn't it?
It is. And today we're diving deep into Azure Cache for Redis. We've sifted through a really useful 5-page summary, honestly, the kind of clear, beginner-friendly guide you always hope for.
Hmm.
And we've pulled out what we think are the absolute key takeaways for you today, our mission, to really understand how this tool transforms application speed. It's not just about storing data, it's about changing how the whole system works.
Exactly. At its heart, what we're really talking about is caching. It's about drastically cutting down the load, the burden on those slower back-end systems.
Right.
And this isn't just, shaving off a few milliseconds here and there. It's about fundamentally improving that user experience, making things feel instant.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. Azure Cache for Redis. What actually is it?
Well, fundamentally, it's a fully managed service from Azure. It's built on the very popular open source Redis platform.
Okay.
Think of it like a super fast temporary storage layer.
Mm-hmm.
It sits strategically right between your application and its main data source, like your database.
Like a middleman, but a really, really fast one, almost like a data pit crew.
That's a good way to put it. And the magic, the really fascinating part, is why it's so fast. Data is pulled from memory, from RAM.
Okay, memory access.
Yeah, and we're talking microseconds. Compare that to hitting a database, even a fast one, or making an external API call. That takes much longer, maybe milliseconds or even seconds.
Big difference.
Huge. So Redis acts like this pressure valve for your backend. It means you can handle way more reads, way more requests, without having to massively scale up your expensive primary databases.
Ah, so it lets the main database focus on what it's best at, like complex stuff or writing data.
Precisely. The database becomes more efficient because it's not bogged down handling every single simple read request. Redis takes care of the repetitive stuff.
Okay, that makes sense. But reading through the summary, the thing that really jumped out was the claim of sub-millisecond response times. I mean, that sounds almost unbelievable. What does that actually feel like for a user? Where does that kind of speed matter most?
It feels like instant,
No.
no perceived delay. Think about an e-commerce checkout. Every fraction of a second counts there, right?
Oh, yeah,
If it feels sluggish, people might abandon their cart.
definitely. Or maybe like a live gaming leaderboard.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
You need that updating instantly as scores change. And connecting this back to the backend load.
Yeah.
Serving all those repeated requests from the cache from Redis, it dramatically cuts down the hits on your main systems, whether that's a SQL database or maybe something like Azure Cosmos DB.
Right, so it's faster for the user and less strain on the back end.
Exactly, which often translates to lower resource usage. And lower resource usage can mean, real cost savings.
That's always good.
Think of it like this. Your main database is maybe your highly skilled, expensive expert. Redis is like a super efficient assistant, handling all the routine queries instantly. Your budget definitely notices the difference.
The cost angle is compelling, but it sounds like it's more than just speed or offloading requests. You mentioned versatility.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just a simple key-value store, although it does that extremely well. Redis supports various data structures.
Like what?
Well, things like strings, obviously, but also hashes, lists, sets, and importantly, sorted sets.
Sorted sets. What would you use those for?
They're fantastic for things like real-time leaderboards, like we mentioned, or maybe activity feeds, or anywhere you need to rank items dynamically. Redis handles this complex sorting in memory super fast.
Instead of making your database do that heavy lifting every time someone looks at the leaderboard.
Exactly. Or hashes. They let you store more complex objects, like a user profile with multiple fields, and retrieve the whole thing in one go. Very efficient.
And I think the summary mentioned something about PubSub.
Yes, publish subscribe. That's a powerful feature for real-time messaging. Think live chat applications or real-time notifications or signaling between different parts of your application. Redis can act as a message broker for that.
Wow, okay. So it really does cover a lot of ground. It sounds almost like a magic fix, but for someone just starting out, where do people usually trip up? Are there common mistakes?
That's a really important question. I think the biggest mistake is trying to use it like a primary permanent database. It's not designed for that. It's a cache. Data can be lost if the cache instance restarts, unless you configure persistence, which adds complexity.
So durability isn't its main goal.
Speed and low latency are the main goals. So for beginners, the best advice is start simple.
Okay.
Pick a common, safe use case. Session storage for web apps is a classic. Storing user login info, maybe shopping cart contents temporarily,
Right, stuff that's okay if it occasionally disappears and the user has to log in again, perhaps.
or caching database query results that don't change too often, like product listings on an e-commerce site. That's usually a safe bet.
And you can actually test this out pretty easily, right? Like in the Azure portal.
Yeah, absolutely. Spin up an instance, connect your app, cache maybe one slow API response, and just see the difference in speed. It's usually quite dramatic.
Makes sense to see it, to believe it.
Definitely. And two crucial best practices always come to mind. First, set expiration times on your cache entries.
TTLs.
Time to live. Exactly, TTLs. You need to tell Redis how long to keep the data before automatically removing it. This keeps your data fresh and stops the cache filling up with stale, useless information. Memory isn't infinite.
Good point. And the second,
Security. Be really careful about caching sensitive data. Unless you have strong encryption configured both in transit and potentially at rest, it's often best to avoid putting things like personal details or credentials directly in the cache.
okay, keep sensitive stuff out unless you've really locked it down. Got it. So pulling all this together then, it really sounds like Azure Cache for Redis is a powerful tool for building, well, just better applications. Faster, more efficient, better user experience, potentially lower costs.
It really does offer a significant advantage with relatively minimal effort for many common scenarios. It improves things across the board: user happiness, back-end health, scalability.
So for you, the listener, maybe the final thought is this. Take a moment to think about an application you use regularly, or maybe one you're even building right now.
Yeah, where does it feel slow? What are the bottlenecks?
Exactly. And once you identify those slow spots, ask yourself, how could putting a super fast in-memory cache like Azure Cache for Redis right there, how could that fundamentally change the game for your users and for your ability to scale efficiently?
That's a powerful question to consider. That little bit of latency reduction can make a world of difference.